I'm a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and as you know, my friend Tech is a huge comic book nerd, so whenever a new Marvel movie comes out, we usually go to see it on opening weekend. There's been a lot of talk about Black Panther, and most of it hasn't really been centered around how good it is. The general vibe seems to be that it's some kind of social commentary masterpiece that's going to end bigotry or something. I don't really understand it, so I asked my roommate, and she said that this movie is really important because it's the first superhero movie to feature a cat as the protagonist. I brought up Catwoman, but I guess that one doesn't really count because it wasn't very good or something. But whatever, it's the first movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to have a cat in the lead role. So I guess that's cool. I get it. There are a lot of cat people in the US, and they finally get a superhero to represent their favorite pet. I mean, we've had a hawk superhero, we've had a raccoon, a lot of spider movies, so it's nice that cat people finally get someone too. Not only is the lead role a cat superhero, but all the supporting actors are cat people as well. I mean, they serve a cat god and use cat technology, and he has a cat cave, and their king is a cat, so that's all cool. But when I actually got to the theater, it was kind of strange. Like I said, I always go see these movies on opening weekend, but I've never seen the theater as completely packed as it was for this movie. The first time we went, the tickets were sold out for the rest of the night, so we had to come back the next day, and we still had to wait over an hour just to get some seats. And I couldn't help but notice that a disproportionately large amount of the people there were cat people. Now, I shouldn't have to say this, but I have nothing against cat people. Like I said, my roommate is a cat. It's just that I started to feel a little bad for all of these guys, like they've been tricked. I mean, I guess it's possible that all of these cat people were also just really into Marvel movies and were willing to stand in line for 2 hours to see one on opening weekend. But I have a feeling that something a little more malicious was at play. I feel like people have been kind of tricked and exploited into thinking that this movie is super important somehow, when in reality, it's just another dumb Marvel movie. You hear about the movie having near perfect scores on Rotten Tomato because it's just so thought-provoking and culturally important or whatever, when in reality, Rotten Tomatoes was actually removing negative reviews to keep that rating high. And people ranting on Twitter about how if you don't like it, you're a bigot or something, as if not liking a movie means that I now suddenly hate cats. It makes no sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure that most people in the US don't have a problem with cats or are cat people themselves, but some of these reviews are just... Hold on, let me read a few. Black Panther feels like the movie we need right now. What? As with very few in the genre, this is a game changer. A masterful, entertaining, and brilliantly smart Marvel installment. Black Panther is a superhero film we need right now. We may not deserve it. Okay, were these people held at gunpoint to write these reviews or something? Anyway, on to the actual movie. What did I think of it? It was alright. It was pretty much what you'd expect, except it took place in Africa instead of New York or space. Fast-paced action movie, fight the bad guys, laser beams and explosions. It tried to have some social commentary, but I can't help but feel it fell completely on its face most of the time. For example, as stated in the movie, the main reason the Wakandan people have thrived is by being extremely xenophobic and isolationist, going as far as to build a giant dome around their country, specifically to keep out migrants and refugees, because they don't want to deal with their problems. They say that exact line in the movie. They also don't seem to have a democracy of any kind. They are ruled by a king, which is about as authoritarian as you can get. Furthermore, their king is decided on through ritual combat. So I guess they value physical strength and military might over actual leadership ability. I mean, there are people who share those sorts of values. I guess I just didn't expect mainstream reviewers and critics to. But in their own words, this is the movie we need right now. There's this one really strange line I didn't understand. So the Wakandans call anyone who isn't from around there a colonizer. I mean, I think this guy made some comment about being more of a dog person or something, but still, that's a really odd thing to call someone. So I guess in their minds, no one who's ever owned a cat has ever colonized anywhere or conquered anything, right? No one from that area of the world has ever gotten into any conflict about territory or resources or anything else. It was all just Nyan cats and rainbows for all of history until those evil dog people showed up, right? But let's step away from that because the movie was really more about actions and explosions. So how was all of that? Well, like I said, it was okay, I guess. It was pretty standard for an action movie. There were things in there that I felt were really dumb. One character had these laser cannon things, but instead of being guns, they're cat gauntlets that shoot laser beams out of cat mouths at the end of them. There were CGI armored battle rhinos, which I felt were pretty stupid. There's also just so much jumping and flipping around by characters that aren't actually supposed to have superpowers, so I just wondered how they do that. At one point, this woman is sitting in a car which gets hit by a laser beam and explodes, throwing her out of the car and 20 feet into the air. To which she reacts by flipping around in the air, landing on the exploded car's door, and using it to surf down the street until she safely comes to a stop. And this isn't a character that's stated to have superpowers or enhanced abilities of any kind, so I guess it's just a thing normal people can do in the Marvel Universe. And it really makes me question if some of the critics of this movie actually watched the movie. Black Panther isn't a film about battling a giant robot or chasing magic stones. Yes. Yes, it is. That is literally what the movie is about. Most of the movie is about vibranium, which I guess isn't exactly magic stones, but it's a rock that stops bullets and shoot laser beams, so it might as well be. And I guess it doesn't technically have giant robots, but it does have giant spaceships shooting laser beams at each other. Did I watch the wrong movie or something? Going back to what I said earlier, it really makes me wonder if this whole social outrage thing about people giving the movie bad reviews was actually propagated by Disney executives. It would make sense, right? Hype the shit out of the movie to get people to think that just by going to watch it, it makes them some kind of social activist, or that it's important for the future of cats or something. Make them want to show up for future Marvel movies so they can see more Black Panther. Because the truth is, going to see this movie or giving it good reviews or whatever only really supports Disney. So, good job, social activist people. Stick it to the man by pressuring people into giving the man their money. You've really done a good job on this one. Anyway, go see it for yourself and tell me what you think in the comments. I'm Kothorix, and you have a wonderful day. Oh, were you expecting my usual outro song? Well, unfortunately, I got into a little bit of a legal dispute over it, so I won't be using it anymore. Enjoy this instead for now. Anyway, as always, I do gameplay streams on Twitch every night at 9 PM to 1 AM Eastern. Follow me on Twitter or come to my Discord for updates on when I go live on Twitch or post a new video. Finally, I want to thank all my patrons and Twitch subscribers for their continued support and making all of this possible.